Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cordumt. We are back to continue our playthrough of Pathfinder Kingmaker in Last Azlanti. So, we made a very unwise decision in the previous episode to come to this area here, Ratnook Hill. I decided that I might as well show how this plays off if you try to come here early and how you can kind of protect yourself against it. As you saw, it's still extremely sketchy. There's so much that can go wrong. The enemies are really tough. They deal a lot of damage. But essentially what you really need for that area is resistance from fire, communal, protection from fire, communal, possibly even more than one protection from fire, communal, because protection from fire will only protect you against a certain amount of damage. So if it wears off, you can just recast and have some better protection. It would have been useful in our case there. I honestly didn't even think it would take so long to kill them, but it can. Glitter dust is also pretty much mandatory to reveal the invisible enemies, otherwise you're gonna have a very hard time hitting them, and they will hit you very hard. And yeah, still very sketchy. So I would be very careful about that. Let's check out how we stand. We are 16 days and 21 hours away from the ancient curse. So I think I'm actually just gonna skip a few days here. I'm gonna rest. Just so we can get everybody well rested and with our spells back. And I think I'm gonna skip days until I get a new event here. So our quest log doesn't have anything new. It just has a just reward. Okay. Is this still building? It might be. Okay, so let's just skip day. We have a new event, and I think that this is the event that I wanted. Troll invasion. Keston arrives at the castle with reports of strange trolls swarming the gnarl marshes. Let's go to the throne room. Your Grace, Keston has a troubled look on his face. I fear there's another matter that requires your attention. There have been reports, many of them, from settlements across the gnarl marshes. There are trolls in the forest, seemingly hordes of them. Rumors claim they are more than the typical savage beasts. They almost seem to show reason and tactics. They form groups, attack all at once, plunder the villages and carry away the peasants. Even stranger, kobolds have been spotted among their ranks, when usually they would be attacked on sight. Keston falls silent for a moment. I'm not certain any of this is reliable. Fear builds mountains of molehills. Some of the rumors even say these trolls carry torches and burn down houses, seemingly unafraid of open flames. It's entirely possible the rest of the reports could be exaggerated as well. The common folk will hardly heed any simple exhortation. Someone will need to go to the gnarl marshes to investigate the matter. So this is just an area of the map. I guess we can read it. They spread across the lowlands of the region and feature craggy hills, lazy streams, deep ravines, and a great variety of trees, including oak, beech, and rush leaf. Yeah. I was considering the matter when it hit me. What if you were to take on this investigation yourself, Your Grace? And sure, a Baron's duty is to his people. I'll head south and look into the situation. Thank you, Your Grace. Keston sighs with relief. When you decide to go, please remember that trolls can only be killed with fire or acid. Very useful information right here. And I'm not being sarcastic here.
Trolls who didn't fear fire? That sounded terrible and dangerous and terribly dangerous. If we couldn't rein them in, our young barony would be eaten up in a snap.
And this is essentially the start of Act 2, I believe. Let me see what else I have here. Success. Tenebrous dreams. A recurrent dream has recently been troubling the Baron's slumbers. He sees valiant heroes entering ancient ruins to descend under the ground, never to return. Their faces show stern resolve, their lips pinched thin. The angry red sun follows the heroes into the darkness, casting its fleeting evening rays upon them. Just before waking, the Baron hears a faint whisper. Come to me, hero. I await you here in the tenebrous depths. This is essentially an invitation into a DLC area, which we will start delving into in the recent-ish future, I believe. Before I head for the Troll Trouble, trying to find out more about them, let me just see if I skip one more day, if the Ancient Curse takes place. Okay, so again and again the same dream. This is just a problem, which we can send Valerie to take care of. But I got no trigger on this. It might be late. The first time on this one might be later, or maybe it's because of these 13 hours. And there we go. This is for the DLC. I will skip one more day. Ah, there we go. So, the 8-legged plague. The rumors surrounding the Bald Hilltop proved true. The barony has been flooded with monstrous spiders, attacking the locals and slaughtering the cattle. Reports indicate that the huge arachnids spread a ghastly disease that weakens the victim with fever and coats their body with blisters. This invasion has to be stopped before panic and infection ravage the stolen lands. And I do believe that for these problems that are tied to the Bald Hilltop, I don't want to lie, I don't really have a way to confirm this right now, but I believe that these problems are always an automatic success with any advisor that you place in here, but make sure that you deal with these problems as soon as possible. They can become very, very annoying. So I'll just start the event. It only takes a single day to accomplish, and we are going to head out into the Bald Hilltop, because I believe that's a trigger to go there as well. Okay, so we're gonna move out, we're gonna leave, we're gonna take our party. Okay, so to the Bald Hilltop we go. And in order to find out if... Yeah, so if you want to know if you've come here at the right time, you will see this portal and these weird bushes around the area. This basically signifies that you are gonna have a combat encounter here. And it will happen multiple times throughout the course of the game. So these encounters can also be among the most dangerous ones you can get as you are traveling around. So we are gonna buff up. Let me get my other charge of bark skin on my leopard. Medium buffs as well. Really, I would spare no expense on buffing for these encounters. And this is true for many, many encounters in the game. Just don't be stingy with your buffs, because they can be the difference between you being alive or dead very quickly. I will want this. You will want that. But I can just do that later. So you have that. Get your armor back on. Let's never forget this, please. I think we are properly buffed. And what we want to do here is just move in with the front line, leaving the people from the back line in the back, because the enemies will only spawn like in this region here. They will not spawn from behind you or anything like that. At least not as far as I remember. In any case,
don't hesitate.
We shall move our leopards up.
I'm listening.
We will start singing with Valerie. Oops. And once you get close enough, the enemies will start showing up.
As you order.
There you go. So in this case we have some giant spiders, for which, honestly, I forgot I should have delay poison communal. Hopefully it will not be much of a problem if they focus mostly on the leopards. But we still have to be somewhat careful here. Let's try and make sure that they go for Valerie after the leopards. My friends over here can start shooting from behind, of course. And you two can also go in for that guy, for example. Okay, so you go there, Valerie can go there. Okay. Let's move up a little bit. That's one down. And usually these first enemies are not the more problematic ones. More powerful enemies will spawn when you kill the first wave. So keep that in mind. Okay, you guys can come down here. You guys are okay over there. And it should be like after 2 of these die, probably. Okay. These are still fine. Although they are greater spiders. And I'm being cautious because, trust me, there will be a reason for it.
Do not hold back.
Another one down. Down. And now, here's the big bad bitch of this encounter, which is Silky. And normally you can think of anything that has Fae as being extremely obnoxious and can be extremely dangerous. Because they have a lot of mind-affecting spells that can be extremely problematic. And I do believe that there will also be a Doom Spider spawning here. So I don't want Rigongar or Amiri to move in just yet. I want the Leopards and Valerie to take care of this. And let me see. Fortitude kind of low, Reflex... Still it has plus 13, it's gonna be very hard to hit anything with this. So I think for right now just... I can try to disable her with Grease. Although I think it's gonna be very unlikely that we are able to do so. She's trying to cast already Hold Person. Yeah, there's a Doom Spider. So both of my Leopards focus on her. Rigongar and the Amiri focus on her. You can even charge... you can't. Just do that. Turn this on. And I'm actually gonna start by using Glitter Dust because this Doom Spider is invisible. Let's try and do Glitter Dust over here. And... okay, so she's targeting Valerie. Blessing of the Faithful will also give her saving throws. Let's buff her up with that. Okay, all the while being careful, don't want to die. Okay. Focus on this bitch, Spider. Arcane Accuracy. You are enraging, everything seems fine. Glitter Dust is going off. Okay, she's dead, good. So, I want everybody to kill this bitch right now. Because as soon as she's dead, the only enemy is Silky and we're gonna focus everything on her. She still doesn't have shield on. Okay. So, I will try to disable her in any way I can. In this case with Greases. And a Sound Burst. This actually targets Fortitude, right? Which is weak against? Yeah. Well, not weak, but the weakest one. Okay, she's held. Which sucks. She actually went down to the Grease and she got stunned? What did you roll, woman? She rolled a 4. And she rolled a 3. Yeah, 3 is actually the maximum she can roll for her to actually fail that save. And I'm not gonna mess around. Since she's down, I'm gonna take the chance to nuke her a little bit. Although 5 damage reduction, it might not do anything. Let's see. But then I will just spam Greases on top of her. Kill this thing. Thank you. Okay, Rigongar, Arcane Accuracy for more accuracy. Kill the bitch! Yes. Nice. Very happy. Valerie, my friend, I'm sorry. You will have to stay there for another 15 seconds. We were lucky with the grease, but honestly, the sound burst was actually a pretty effective spell there. Let me just look at this again. Where is it? Silky. She died. There, yeah. So she has a +9, but our difficulty class is actually 19. Which does give us a fairly decent chance of actually disabling her with the stun. So that was a good spell to use on her. And she's the only one that drops an item, as we can see here. Let's check what we have. We have an additional Ring of Protection, which I think everybody has one already. Well, except you. Let's take it. And we also have the Wyvern Skin Cloak. This cloak grants this wearer a +2 enhancement bonus to natural armor and 4 resistance bonus on saving throws against poison, sleep, and paralysis. So, currently we have a Cloak of Winter Veil on Miss Valerie here. We can give her this. The one thing we have to keep in mind in terms of using items that give you a bonus to natural armor, or enhancement to natural armor, is that it does not stack with Barkskin. Okay, so if you have an item such as this on one of your characters, then I wouldn't bother casting Barkskin on them, at least while Barkskin hasn't scaled up with levels. So it would be more useful on someone that does not actually use Barkskin. This also doesn't stack Amulet of Natural Armor, so it only increases by 1 instead of 2. Okay, doesn't stack. And this +1 cloak can go for my lover Cordampina here. She can be happy with that. And the Wand of Shields. You can have it. Don't see myself using it right now, but... Okay, so the Bald Hilltop has been taken care of. And I usually go for this as soon as I can. To the point where I don't even remember if you have to do this as soon as you can or not. But given that the game throws a lot of events at you, based on the Ancient Curse that can greatly hurt your barony stats or your barony stability, I just do this as soon as possible and get it over with. And that's taken care of. We're gonna come back over here. We are going to rest and we're gonna check on the status of that event that Tristan was doing. So, rest up. Okay. So, an Ancient Curse, let's check it out. The curse gains power. Jod and Tristan estimated we have about a month before the curse gains its full power. And the attacks on our barony have stopped. Did we win? We'll have to wait for news to arrive. Okay, so we get this status given that we either cleared the Bald Hilltop combat event that we just did, or because Tristan was successful in the event. I don't remember which is which. I just advise doing these as soon as you can. Okay, so it's done. Managed to persevere and enjoys peace once again. We got some community, loyalty, and divine. That's awesome. We have no other events to take care of. And if we want, we could even just spend 2 weeks right now leveling up Tristan's advisor status. But before we do that, which is something that we want to do, I do like to rank up my companions or my advisors as soon as I can. But before we do that, I think that now I can actually go and pick up my other companion, which I will prioritize over ranking up an advisor, which is in the Skunk River. So we shall go over here. And this time, if I'm not mixed up with the order of things,
Give the order.
we should have the companion here and we should have something to do here as well. I'm gonna use my long duration buffs. Okay, let's again work our bark skin on the leopard. Okay. And put back our armor. Let's head up. Come on. Yeah. Quick, you've got to help us. People are beset by nasty kobolds. And here is our friend, Mr. Jubilost, the face of our new player guide. And we will want to help him out because they are beset by kobolds. Kobolds shouldn't be much of a big problem for us right now. But if they get buffed, which they will get buffed over there, they might be a little bit problematic. Hey! So let's move up a bit. We find some more kobolds. And... Tartuk! So the gnome invites some of his friends. Stupid, slow, sluggish gnome. Gnome. Stupid. There's a purple kobold on the riverbank who looks just like your old acquaintance Tartuccio. Kobolds want this cart. Kobolds shall have it. The horse skull hides most of the kobold's face, but you see his vicious eyes glinting through the empty socket staring at you. By orders of myself, the glorious King Tartuk. Alter ego of the gnome Tartuccio, until recently you thought you'd killed him. The kobold pounds his chest with his fist. Tartuk, king! The head of the gnome expedition wipes his brow and glares at the kobold. This bastard was the one talking our ears off, while the rest of them were trying to steal our cart. King Tartuk, the gnome looks at you and winks. What do you say to a bit of regicide? Tartuccio, I recognize you. What is this new disguise and why are you not dead? How dare you speak like that to King? Kobolds, attack! Shirdaz! 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 Yes, I make a lovely kobold. We all know this. We all acknowledge it. I would be a better king than Tartuccio. But yeah, so he cast haste on all of his friends here. And these guys can actually be quite nasty because they have a lot of AC. They move very fast and they attack very fast. Let's see if we can not get too hurt by this. The archers are focusing on the leopard, which is what we want. And I will use my main character here to try and blind these friends. And you try to blind the guys back there, please. And we can also throw out a sonic burst to try and stun these. But they, for the most part, they shouldn't be too hard, but if we can disable them, all the better. Yeah, so these guys are blinded. Only one is blinded, but still worth it. Okay, let's go.
See what your entrails look like.
There we go. See you soon enough. This is not over. Bye-bye, Tartuccio. And our friends here are having some trouble with their cart. And we are gonna help them. But before we do that, we're actually gonna explore the rest of the region. Because there are some items around here that can help you with this, you know, with this cart thing. And we do want all the help we can get because, as I've said, skill checks are like the biggest portion of your experience gains. Yeah, Ferocious Wolf, these guys have 24 AC.
Our time has come.
For right now, I'll just cast a Bless. I don't think I need much more than that. I can get my mutagen because it lasts for 10 minutes. But I think that's mostly all I want. This would last you 5 minutes, so sure you can get that. Mirror image. Take a shield. Okay.
I am your shield.
You have your armor. Let's go. Okay, more wolves. And do not, again, don't underestimate any enemy in the game. I would say is my main thing to take into consideration. But wolves are something that may seem like kind of an irrelevant enemy. It's just an animal, right? It doesn't do much. But wolves actually trip on hit. So it's very easy for you to think you are safe, but then you get tripped, and when you try to get up, well, while you are tripped, you have a disadvantage to your AC, which is already bad. When you try to get up, you trigger attacks of opportunity, which is awful. So it's actually easier than you might think to die to wolves in this game. This guy just has some gold. Skin. Take these mushrooms. And also the other reason to go for this before helping them with the cart and explore later is that you can make use of the buffs you have on right now. So naturally, buffs are not infinite, they don't last forever, and don't have infinite spell slots either. So the more you can squeeze out of your spell casts, the better. So in this case I have like 4 minutes left on Enlarge Person, Shield and Mirror Image. I want to try and make them last. Or I want to try and make them useful for as long as I can. So here what we have? We have some kobolds. I do believe there's an annoying little shaman around here. Well, I will find him eventually.
I am yours to
And
command.
I suppose I can send like one leopard over here. And then the other leopard over there. And then you go over there. And you. And you.
I will
And
not
you three just shoot whatever. Archer. No, it's fine. Ah, there's the Boomsayer. I hate this guy.
as one.
This guy casts Sound Burst, which can stun all of our people, which is awful. As, you know, it's kind of easy to understand. Let's see if we can kill him quickly. Go for him, and go for him. Okay, wasn't too bad, good. Okay, I will leave this loot to be picked up later, because again, I want to try to keep the buffs I have. We still have this area and that area to explore. We will do something over here with the ponies soon. And don't worry, they will never let go of the cart. You have time to explore this. Oh, it's actually like an ambush here. Interesting. Oh, because they're fighting among themselves. Okay. Let's prioritize the wolves. They are more dangerous than the kobolds.
Stay behind me.
I don't like where Amiri is standing.
So it comes to this.
Okay, we're doing well. Very good. I don't believe there are enemies over there. But we shall focus on this side first. And I really want haste. I am craving that spell. Okay.
Focus.
And for these friends, the usual strategy.
I'm listening.
But we're actually gonna sing this time. Just because.
Restless.
Here I am.
And Mr. Leopard, you can go over there, and you can go over there, and you three shoot that guy. There is an Alpha Wolf, which I had kind of forgotten about. Let's focus on him. Might want a Sound Burst here. But I think we're actually doing quite well. Yeah, he's dead. You see, he tripped my leopard. That bitch. Let's pick this up. Another ring of protection, quite cool.
I can see my...
What else do we have? Wait, what? Oh, for skinning. Yeah. Skin those. Let's come over here. Okay.
I will guide.
Okay, yeah.
This requires
Oh.
your attention.
I was gonna say, I'm trusting my memory, which is something that's
I can see my...
normally not a very good idea. But I'm trusting my memory that there are no more combat encounters. So I'm just freely moving through the area without worrying too much about my buffs right now.
Do not hold back.
Can I even reach this? No. I can reach this though. Okay. We're gonna check out the loot soon.
To success.
Mouth-watering broth is simmering in the pot. Kobolds' corpses are badly burned by acid and alchemical fire. The gnomes fought fiercely, but eventually they were outnumbered. Oh, this was like the gnome encampment. Okay. The camp looks habitable. Its owners must be somewhere nearby. And this is really the main reason why you want to explore this area. We can get a crowbar here. And I think you can also get a rope. But I feel like I missed it. Oh, this is where we learn why seasoned adventurers never leave home without a rope? Wait, what? We could really use the crowbar to hold... Okay, so to save the cart from the river, you can actually do 3 things that will help you out saving the cart. So among all the fuss, the cart's ponies have nearly slipped their harnesses. Better hurry to catch them. We found some ponies that were freed up there. We could really use a good crowbar to hold the cart's wheels, which we just picked up. And this is where we learn why seasoned adventurers never leave home without a rope. This is what I mentioned in a previous episode when we were in the capital purchasing some things or looking at the merchants.
Without a doubt.
Although I do believe that there is an area around here that also drops a rope. I'm pretty sure I must have missed it, or I picked it up because I think I only had 1 rope. Maybe I picked it up without noticing. It might have happened. It might have happened. Okay, so we are gonna help out with the cart. Now, for this, we're gonna get a book event with a lot of skill checks, and the way we can help out those skill checks is by using something like Inspire Competence before we begin the book event, because this will buff everybody with competence bonus on all skill checks. And we can also buff up with Blessing of the Faithful. I remember that I need my main character to be well buffed, so I will give him a long Blessing of the Faithful. I don't remember if I need any other ones to also be buffed. I think maybe a Miri, so I will give this to her. This lasts for how long? 17 seconds. And I guess I can also just buff your
I will guide.
Damn it, man, I forgot the ponies. Okay, Mr. Ponies. 8 seconds, it's not gonna last. Okay, well, it's fine.
Our time has
Let's
passed.
use the short one, in case this is a nature check, which might be. We're gonna use Inspire Competence. And now we're gonna talk to the ponies. A pair of scared ponies stands before you. They don't run away, but they snort loudly and neigh as you approach. These are most likely the spare pair of ponies the gnome expedition used to pull their cart. When the kobolds attacked, they weren't tied to the cart, so they just pulled themselves free and fled to the forest. Hey, these are my ponies! Stupid animals, why did you flee the camp? The gnome glares at the ponies, who seem unperturbed. On the other hand, if you were smart, I suppose you'd want me to pay for your services. I guess it's in all our best interest that you stay stupid. So yeah, lore nature here, 15, we have a bonus to 18, so we cannot fail this. Try to calm the ponies. There we go. Soothed by your voice, the ponies let you touch them and stroke their manes. You decide to lead them to the river to help drag the gnome's cart out. So you have one help already. We can turn this off. And by the way, time does not go by during dialogues. So it's safe for you to cast or to start singing Inspire Competence, and it will only consume a single round instead of, you know, the whole time you were there. You can see the same thing over here for the blessings. You still have some time left. Okay, so that's done. We have the ponies. I'm gonna buff again, because I had forgotten about this detail. You take that, you take that, and you take that. And you sing. Okay. And let's interact. Wow, this is long. Stop it. While the gnomes were busy fighting the kobolds, furiously cursing and diligently punching their unwelcome guests right in their dragonish snouts, the cart was all but forgotten. The unwitting cause of the fight, it was being dragged away by the scared ponies when it slid down the ford, sinking all the way up to the coachman's seat in the river. This was where the Skunk River flows into the Tuskwater, and the current becomes excessively spiteful, cold, stubborn, and turbulent. Having taken hold of the gnome's cart, the Skunk River must have decided to drag it down amid all the commotion, but it was caught in the act. The surviving gnomes, led by the head of the gnome expedition, an extremely loud and crabby fellow, but not without some managerial talent, were able to catch the cart before it floated away. Faces red and grunting from the strain, they struggled to keep it from drowning entirely. Just then, a package fell into the water. With a heartbreaking splash, it vanished beneath the current, only to resurface 10 meters down the river. No! The head of the gnome expedition moaned as he glowered at the package. That was Alchemy and Life, the latest issue. After plunging into the cold river, the ponies immediately lost their nerve. Swiveling their ears and twitching, they tried to chew through the reins and throw off the load. Why are you just standing around? Go on, help them! The head of the gnome expedition was visibly dissatisfied as he shouted. So, since we have a crowbar and a rope, we have these options. So we're gonna set the crowbar under the cart's wheel. Yeah, so set under the wheel, the crowbar wedged into position against the stones of the riverbed, making the process of pulling the cart out of the river easier. We also tie the rope to the cart. On 1, 2, 3, and the rope was securely tied to the cart, making it easier to pull out. A good lesson for every adventurer. Never leave home without a rope. Rope is your best friend. And now, what are our options? We can leave the cart alone for a moment, hoping to find something helpful nearby. And this is what you can do if you interact with the cart before you explore. You can actually stop this book event, go and look for the rope and the crowbar and the ponies, and then come back. Or you can just say, gathering our strength, we began pulling the cart from the river. Or one of us tried to jump onto the cart to untie the ponies while standing in the water. Let's try this one. And this is why I was remembering Amiri, because it requires mobility as well as nature. So since Cordampina doesn't have a lot of mobility here, I'm gonna use Amiri and hope it's good enough. Awesome. 15 difficulty class, we got it. And what is it? 10 okay, it's actually quite easy. Amiri nimbly climbed onto the roof of the cart and carefully crawled toward the ponies hitched up at the riverbank. The ponies seemed to be relieved to feel a firm hand holding the reins again. What? I guess this is they. they calmed down at once and allowed themselves to be unhitched. In just a few moments, they were standing back at the fort, ready to pull the carts from the river. So now calm and tight security to the cart, the ponies neighed quietly, awaiting the order to begin pulling the carts from the river. So, gathering our strength, we began pulling the cart from the river. If you're certain you're ready, then let's do it. But be careful. Imagine the carts full of gold, or ale, or some other thing you wouldn't bear to lose. Valerie frowned. Better you should trust in our dignity than your greed, Sir Gnome. The gnome rolls his eyes. For God's sake, whatever. Just pull the cart. We tried to pull the cart out. The cart creaked and cracked, sounding as though it were sobbing. The board strained against the combined stress of the rushing water's pull against everyone trying to pull the cart ashore. Unfortunately for the cart, both sides were of equal strength. Something had to be done, or the poor cart would be torn to pieces. And we have multiple options here. Let's see which one is the better one for us. Although, yeah, this is what I thought. This is something that you can only do with your main character. Which, you know, it kinda sucks, let's be honest. Because our nature, intelligence, strength and athletics all suck. We do have some charisma, but it's still not very good because our skill check abilities like the song and whatnot, they don't affect ability score checks. So we're just gonna have to pray that this works. So everyone was soaking wet, freezing and exhausted. The group's initial enthusiasm had all but vanished. They glared at the cart scornfully, ready to give up and forget about it like it was all a bad dream. The Baron decided it was time to raise everyone's spirits, be it with a smile, a noble order, some shouting, or even a good round of swearing. Now, pray for me, my friends. Oh, yes! Okay! We succeeded, we rolled a 9. Nice. After everyone struggled together for a while, the cart finally made it out of the muddy riverbed and rolled back onto the rocky ground of the waiting fort, prompting some seemingly indignant sloshes and squelches as the river released its trophy and rushed along in search of easier prey. Losing no time, the head of the gnome expedition jumped inside. For a good while, rattling and swearing were all that could be heard from the cart until the gnome's face finally reappeared from under the rooftop, seemingly satisfied. Almost everything's still in place, he announced cheerfully, jumping from the cart. It's all wet and crumpled, but at least nothing's missing. Thank you, travelers. If not for your help, guided by my keen supervision, of course, I'd have to say goodbye to all my possessions. Now, let's also hope that I'm not doing this too late, which is I want to disable only active companions receive experience, because I do want Jubilost to join us with full XP. Okay, we even leveled up, nice. Okay, so double sure this is off. Okay, so we saved the cart from the river, we helped the beleaguered travelers. We got 90 experience plus 240 experience, I'm guessing, from completing this quest. Let's... Oh, you can turn this off now. Let's speak with Mr. Jubilost. The gnome that stands before you wears dirty and ragged clothes. They used to look stylish and wealthy long ago, but those times are long gone. I actually like it quite a bit. His black hair is matted, a deep, fresh scratch crosses his cheek. Despite of his rather pathetic look, the gnome behaves... What? Really? He doesn't look pathetic. The gnome behaves with inner dignity and even manages to maintain a superior manner.
Jubilost Nartropple, at your grace's service. Your help with these kobolds and my almost drowned cart was timely indeed. By the way, it's a shame no one organized a greeting party when such a famous and popular person as myself arrived to your capital. I wasn't expecting a red carpet covered with rose petals, but you could at least have sent ahead some delegation. Oh, at least some of my servants are still alive. Do you know how much it costs to train a proper servant?
Jubilost jabbers too fast, never stopping to even take a breath. You can see he's piled up some emotions and just needs to get them out of his system.
Sounds like your servants are nothing but tools to you. Truly, with masters like that, being a servant is not much of an improvement over being a slave.
You tell him, Octavia.
What's this then? Huh. Run along, little girl. The grown-ups are talking.
So, you're not only arrogant, but a boorish swine as well. Why am I not surprised at all?
Jubilost only clears his throat, paying no attention to the fuming mage.
Also, while I'm on that, I'd like to make an official announcement. The roads in your barony are in terrible condition. People must search for wading fords to cross the rivers because no one had bothered themselves with building bridges, and honest travelers have to take the risk of being attacked by kobolds at any moment. So, how did you say your barony was called? Ah, whatever, never mind. When I draw the map of these lands, I will call them Maybe Local Baron Will Help. I guess it's a fitting name.
The gnome fell silent at last. He just watches you with his shifty eyes, opening and closing his mouth as if he wants to say something more, but hasn't come up with anything yet.
You think too highly of yourself, Sir Gnome. Behave with some dignity while you're on these lands.
Yep.
Oh, I see. The very spirit of knighthood embodied. So, what do you propose me to do, Sir Knight? Should I lie?
I never noticed this. O bold and manful Sir Knight?
By no means. But you shall not be so blunt. I bid you to express your opinion in a more courteous form.
Your problem, Sir Knight, is that you worry too much about form and appearance. Unsurprisingly so, considering your pretty face. As for me, I worry solely about the content.
Valerie blushes even more and turns away. It seems to you that the gnome has stepped on her toes. Let's see what we have. For someone who values content so highly, you seem pretty quick to make superficial judgments.
Oh, is that so? I would deem it necessary to inform you that...
Please, don't waste your words and time on this buffoon. Especially because of me.
Buffoon. Valerie nods to you with a slight smile, indicating her appreciation for your aid. How do you know I'm a baron?
I've already told you I visited your capital some time ago. Weren't you listening to me? And I'm used to being greeted by officials when I arrive to settlements of at least some importance. The glory of myself and my exploits usually precedes me, and officials usually prefer to be on good terms with me.
Jubilost smiles slyly. I didn't know you'd come.
Yes, you're right. I should have remembered that your lands are in the middle of nowhere, and you don't get updates on important things in time.
He's such a little bitch. Okay, so what happened here? How did your cart end up the river?
My party and I set up camp at the bank of this river. We'd just finished kindling the fire when that purple bastard appeared. You know what he told me? He introduced himself as the king of the kobolds and told me he needed our clothes because he wanted to dress his subjects properly, you see, as long as they've established the kingdom of their own. That's literally what he said. I wonder, where did he learn the words? Obviously, I told him to buzz off. Some kobold wants to strut around wearing the clothes of the great cartographer Jubilost Nartropple. No way. So I've been explaining my position to him, being rather eloquent too, suggesting he and his so-called kingdom might as well fall into the deepest sinkhole. In the meantime, I've noticed that kobolds have already started to untie my cart. Well, I called my men to keep the cart safe. They couldn't guess what to do on their own, just stood there with their mouths ajar.
He's so
Then
mean.
things heated up as the fighting started, and while we were fighting, the ponies dragged the cart to the river. Ah, stupid animals.
You said you were famous, but I don't know you. What are you famous for?
That was either a stupid and offensive joke or a case of total ignorance. The latter, I hope. I'm famous as a traveler, a cartographer, an alchemist, and a journalist. The students of all the major universities study the world using my maps. My articles for different journals are well known everywhere, from Andorran to Brevoy. You've definitely read some issues of National Alchemy, haven't you?
No.
Culinary Almanac of the Inner Sea?
No.
Or the most scandalous one, The Independence, describing benefits and drawbacks of governments and regimes in different states? Didn't read any of these? Oh, well, don't answer that. I don't want to spoil my impression of your barony. It's spoiled enough already. It would be hard for me to write at least something positive otherwise.
Okay. So, what is such a famous person doing that far from civilization?
I pursued two objectives. The first is to write an article on this new barony of yours for the Independence. The second is to draw a detailed map of the stolen lands. Before this barony appeared, it had been too dangerous to come here, but now an opportunity has appeared. Thanks to you, I must add. So, as you can see, the freedom of speech sometimes grants positive comments too.
Indeed.
Anyway, I'm almost done with this journey. My article is practically ready, so is the map. All that's left to do now is to find an old dwarven outpost established here several centuries ago.
And what is this dwarven outpost you're searching for?
Your ignorance is stunning. You create a barony and still you know nothing about the lands you own. I'll have to enlighten you on the subject. You see, long ago there was a dwarven trade route crossing these lands. It connected Five Kings Mountains and the north. The route was so important to the dwarves that they were generous enough to set a number of outposts along it, manned with armed guardians to provide protection for the traders. One of these outposts must be somewhere nearby, lost and completely forsaken, but nothing can avoid the watchful eye of the great cartographer Jubilost Nartruple. I will find this outpost, and I will mark its location on the map. You can trust me on that.
And I believe that this is the same place that Harem is looking for as well. Tell me, is this old dwarven outpost abandoned? Is it possible it's now used by trolls as a lair, for instance?
Why not? Dwarves like being underground, trolls like being underground too. It's quite possible after dwarves left, their warm and cozy place fell into the hands of less attractive creatures.
Well, I am looking for the troll's lair. Maybe we're looking for the same place. Let's join our efforts and start looking together.
Well, you proved to be a capable companion in a case of emergency. I guess I can entrust you with covering my back. Let's go. I will send someone for my cart later.
And there we go. We get Mr. Jubilost Nartruple as our new companion. I'm actually not gonna put him in my party right now because I will probably have to take some stuff out of Octavia to bring him in. But worry not, we're gonna get through this very, very soon. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna accept as we are. We have explored the entirety of this area. Do you say something different? The cart is unbroken, almost unharmed, and ready for new journeys. Cool, so we actually succeeded on everything over there. I'm quite happy about it. We have some level ups to do, which I will study before starting the next episode, so we don't lose a lot of time on the level up screen. Right now I am simply going to go back to our barony, where we can look at Mr. Jubilost, see what he is, how he plays out, how he's gonna benefit our party, all that good stuff, before we bring him into the actual party. Also check if there are any kind of new events as well. So yeah, let's take a look at Mr. Jubilost here. So this guy is a chaotic neutral gnome, and he is an alchemist. Now, alchemist is something that honestly I've pretty much grown so accustomed to having in my party that I basically cannot play the game without having an alchemist with me. Obviously you can play without an alchemist, but it's so nice to have one that I always want one with me. So what does this guy actually do? So if you look at the character here, he is actually a very capable companion to deal with a lot of very different skill checks, because his main stat is intelligence, and intelligence will influence the amount of skill points you get to distribute. So him and naturally Octavia also has a lot of different skill points to use. And if we look at his class, we can see that he is a pure alchemist. He doesn't use any of the subclasses. I would have preferred if it was a grenadier, because I think you basically only get positives by going grenadier instead of an alchemist, but he's still very, very good as he is. He has point blank shot because he's mostly going to be shooting into battle. He's not going to be going into melee. He has the alchemist proficiencies. He has throw anything, which makes him capable of throwing bombs quite accurately. He also has precise shot, as we have discussed before. This is something that pretty much every single character that is shooting from the backline wants to have, so you don't have the penalty to your attack rolls. And he also has ability focus on bombs, so every bomb that he throws that has a saving throw associated will have a +2 to the difficulty class for the enemies to save against. And here we can see something that's unique for the alchemists. They have bombs. So, in addition to magical extracts, alchemists are adept at swiftly mixing various volatile chemicals and infusing them with their magical reserves to create powerful bombs that they can hurl at their enemies. An alchemist can use a number of bombs each day equal to his class level plus his intelligence modifier. This is what we've seen on multiple occasions, especially on the previous episode, where we find some enemies which are alchemists and they throw their fire bombs and we can see the amount of damage they deal. They are very, very dangerous. And now we have someone capable of using them as well. So they have a range of 30 feet, which is quite long actually, and use the throw, splash, weapon, special attack. They are considered weapons and can be selected using feats such as point blank shot and weapon focus. On a direct hit, an alchemist's bomb inflicts 1d6 points of fire damage plus additional damage equal to the alchemist's intelligence modifier. The damage of an alchemist's bomb increases by 1d6 points at every odd-numbered alchemist level, so the damage scales as he levels up. Splash damage from an alchemist's bomb is always equal to the bomb's minimum damage, so if the bomb would deal 2d6 plus 4 points of fire damage on direct hit, its splash damage would be 6 points of fire damage instead. What they are talking about splash damage is when he throws a bomb, if he hits the enemy, it's a direct hit, but they also have a small area of effect around the bomb. This is what they mention here as splash damage. So if the bomb would deal 2d6 plus 4, it only deals the minimum, which is 2 plus 4. Those caught in the splash damage can attempt a reflex save for half damage. The DC of this save is equal to 10 plus half the alchemist's level plus the alchemist's intelligence modifier. What else does he have? He has precise bomb. When the alchemist throws a bomb, it does not affect allies. This is very good. He has poison resistance. This will mostly be irrelevant once we get delay poison communal, which is in the next level for Cordampina, I believe. He also has acid bomb, which is a different kind of bomb. When the alchemist creates a bomb, he can choose to have it inflict acid damage. So creatures that take a direct hit from an acid bomb take an additional 1d6 points of acid damage 1 round later. This will also be very useful in our upcoming fights, given that trolls are weak to acid. And then he also has, like, I believe, another point of poison resistance, and, you know, just continuing to level up as we go. Jubilost is actually one of our companions, just like Cordampina, which we will be leveling up as a pure class. There are so many good things on the Alchemist class, and specifically on the role that Jubilost will be taking, that keeping him pure is the way I prefer to do it. And as we also saw, a lot of things that he has scales with his levels, so the more levels he has in Alchemist, the better it is. We will be going over the level ups, like I said, in the next episode. Right now, the only thing I want to do is assign our last advisor, because if there's something that Jubilost is good at, is at being a treasurer. So the treasurer's duty is to keep the coffers of the barony full and ensure any gold spent is spent wisely. Jubilost aims to cut expenses and spend diligently, and is sure to let everyone know it too. Jubilost I would consider to be one of the best companions you can get in Pathfinder Kingmaker, if not the absolute best companion you can get. Being an alchemist, he has the bombs. Bombs always target touch AC, which is a really good boss killer in this game. A lot of times you will have enemies that have such high AC, but their touch AC is quite low, and you will find yourself missing every single attack with your other companions, while Jubilost is actually quite proficient in actually hitting those enemies with his bombs. Not only that, but Jubilost, or alchemists in general, they have access to arcane magic, and also some druid magic, for example Barkskin, which is very useful. And this is very good for himself, as it stands, but they also have an ability that you can get as a discovery, which we will get in the next level. I can actually just show it here. I won't actually do the level up now. Well, I could, but I'm just going to show it, which is Infusion. So, Infusion is great because Infusion allows the alchemist to use his extracts not only on himself, but on other people as well. With this discovery, all alchemist extracts will behave exactly like spells of the same names when considering targets and range. So, alchemist extracts is what they call their spells, essentially. And why is this so great? Because there are a lot of very, very good spells. Just an example, we have Shield here, that are personal. You can only use this on the person casting the spell. So let's look at why this is so good. We have the Shield spell, which creates an invisible shield of force that hovers in front of you. It negates magic missiles attacks directed at you. The disc also provides a +4 shield bonus to AC. This bonus applies against incorporeal touch attacks since it is a force effect. The shield has no armor check penalty or arcane spell failure chance. So this is essentially the same as using a shield on your character. It gives you a +4 bonus to AC. This is something that, for example, Octavia would like to cast, my main character would like to cast, and also very interestingly, it would be really cool if we could have Amiri use it as well, while she's using like a big two-handed weapon, also having the shield bonus. That would be great, right? And Jubilost or Alchemist with Infusion can provide just that. So they can cast shield on a two-handed fighter. They can cast shield on your pets. So they already have a lot of AC, and you can stack it even a lot higher with spells, right? So if you use Mage Armor, that's a +4. If you use Shield of Faith, that's a +2 up to a +5 on the later levels. If you cast Bark Skin, extra bonus as well. If you cast Shield, an additional +4. So you can imagine your leopard running into battle wearing a shield. But yeah, it's just an example of why alchemists are so good. And just for the shield spell alone, it's almost worth it to have an alchemist in your party. It's that good, honestly. Well, it's past time already. I'll equip him in the next episode, go over his spells and whatnot. But rejoice, people, we have a new permanent companion for our party, Mr. Jubilost Narthropple. And we also have our 5th advisor. This will be it for this episode, my friends. As always, I want to thank you all for being here with me in the channel, watching some Pathfinder Kingmaker in Last Azlanti. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Any questions, suggestions, anything at all, leave a comment below. If you are enjoying the content, consider subscribing for more, many more videos coming out soon, and I hope to see you all in the next episode. Until then, stay safe, everyone.